Hi, I'm Nicol, vocalist of Stellvris, and you're watching CMS TV.
Chris Aiken Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Aiken. And today on the show, it's not a brand new band, but it's newer to me, which makes me think it'll probably be newer to you as well. The band is called Stellvris. They have an EP. They have past music that you should be checking out. We're going to be talking about their release Shatter and Bloom, but we're going to talk all about Stellvris here. And who better to talk about them than Nicol from Stellvris? Nicol, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm great. Like I was telling you right before we started, I really like what you guys are doing. You know, it's that combination of, you know, obviously the current age of metal, you know, but there are parts in this, some of the intros and the smoother vocal parts that are fresh out of the Madonna Playbook. You know, it's really, it comes from that pop world, but then it just explodes into rage. I love that. So why don't we maybe take a step back a little bit so that people that are discovering the band for the first time understand where you came from and how you got together. So if you would, tell me kind of the story of Stellvris.
Sure thing. So we started as a bunch of like musicians, and we were just rehearsing in like a rehearsal room. And then I was like a friend of mine. She was doing a concert, and she was like, okay, like it's time to go on stage. So I told the guys like, okay, let's do this. So let's compose more things, and let's come up with the name and socials and all the stuff. So we created it, and we put together like, I don't know, 5 songs, 6 songs or something like that. And we just like had our first show. It was crazy. It was, even though I was like performing before that, I was performing like with my clean vocals only.
Okay.
And this was the first time I was using harsh vocals, growling and screaming, and it was very intense for me. I was very nervous that like if everything is going okay, if my voice will survive, if everything is going to be fine. And yeah, since then, it was like a wild ride.
Sure. Well, let me ask you this, Nicol, and this is just curiosity. It really has nothing to do with your band, but more about you. What leads a female vocalist to the harsh vocal? I mean, you obviously, anybody that's heard your music knows that you have a really, really strong, clean vocal, like almost operatic in some places.
Thank you.
What leads you to the wah? You know, is it? I mean, are you just watching what goes on today and you see Arch Enemy or Ginger or whatever, and you're like, I can do this too? Or did you have a passion to do it? I mean, what led you to the harsher vocal?
Yeah, well, I was listening to metal music like maybe since I was born, because my dad, he's a metalhead, and but my mom, she's more into pop music, so it was kind of like a combination of those two worlds. And then I actively started to listen to metal music when I was at high school, but it was more like symphonic metal, melodic metal, but no harsh vocals at all.
Sure.
And then I was at university, and I had those like pretty hard exams ahead. And I was searching for something that would calm me down. And a friend of mine, he sent me Arch Enemy with Alisa.
Very soothing, very calming.
I know, I'm not original with this thing, but I think a lot of girls started with Alisa or Arch Enemy.
Sure.
And yeah, and I was listening to this, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And my nature is more like that I'm kind of like like angry and grumpy and pissed off person, and a lot, even though I'm smiling, and it's kind of like, okay, but inside my head it's like this.
Sure.
So yeah, so I was like, okay, this is something I was missing in my performance. And So I decided to search for like somebody who can teach me how to growl and scream. I found one guy, and that's how the journey started. Then I saw Ginger when they toured with Arch Enemy. It was crazy when I saw her like those deep growls. It's
Sure.
something I can't do like as she is doing. She has a really unique voice, but I at least tried to make it. And yeah, so this was something like a passion. I just needed this thing. And when I learned how to do it without any harm, any like pain in here, I decided that like I realized that I really love it. So I like clean vocals, but I don't think I would be able to do clean vocals only.
Sure. Do you worry at all? And this is the last question I'll ask about this before we get to the actual music. But do you worry at all that as time goes on, that style will take away your ability to have clean vocal? And I'll use an exact example of Philip Anselmo from Pantera. If you listen to Cowboys from Hell, he's doing that Rob Halford, wah, and then
Yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you listen to Reinventing the Steel, that's gone. He lost it over the years. It's obviously more important to what you're doing with Stellvris to have the clean vocal as the contrast. Do you worry about one canceling the other?
Actually, no,
Okay.
because this is something like I'm not really like rock and roll type of singer.
Sure.
I really take care of my vocals, of my body, of everything. So whenever I'm on tour, I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm trying to get enough sleep before I go on tour. I'm just like doing more like cardio exercise, like to just to be, and also like I go to gym to have the body strong. And this is something like I really take care of it. And I'm singing and screaming, and I'm practicing both. And I'm really like taking care of not losing the range of my vocals. And I know that it can happen, and it happens to some vocalists, but I'm not that afraid if I continue doing it right, in the
Right.
right way, which means I'm quite boring when I'm on tour. And yeah, like whenever guys want to have some fun and just like talk during that, like shut the fuck up, or we're not like playing tomorrow.
Right. That's funny. Well, Nicol, let's dig into the record a little bit. Shatter and Bloom, the title, it kind of implies that something's being destroyed in order for this new music to exist. I don't know if I'm reading something into that or not. What is
Absolutely.
the story behind that?
That's what you actually said. Being in a band and working with people is tough. And like, even though at the very beginning you are sitting down with these people, you're telling them like that you would like to make a living of it, that you would like to really go up and just like go on tour like all the time and just do like music only. But it's like you have to sacrifice a lot of things on this way up. And when you talk to the people at the beginning and you tell them that you want this and that there will be some sacrifices, and every time the people are like, yeah, 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 sure, 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 we agree, we want to do this and that and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not true. The time shows that like a lot of people are lying about it, or they just simply don't know what exactly it takes to be in a band that wants to go up and high. So yeah, so basically that's what I've been through with Stellaris, and a lot of things had to be shared to like have something new and strong bloom. So that's like that's actually the story about like this song.
Sure. How comfortable are you sharing your real feelings? I mean, it's one thing to sing a song and just have it be about observations. I'm seeing this in the world or that in the world. Your music seems to be very personal. How comfortable are you kind of opening up and saying, "Here it is, judge me"?
Yeah, well, at the beginning it was difficult, and it wasn't like that at the very beginning that I would be opening myself that much. But then I realized that if I want to be connected with the people, if I really, really want to like be involved in their lives, and if I want the people to be involved in our music, I knew that I have to open myself and to tell the real story, to tell like what is actually happening. And I found it very like relaxing and kind of like a therapy, that I can just tell you just like F you, and and it feels so good.
Right on.
Hey, you. Why are you watching this with commercials? Go commercial free and unlock exclusive content. Become a VIP today on Locals, Substack, or Rumble Premium. Stop waiting.
Well, let's talk about another track on the record, Nicol. One that I think should speak to probably more people than will ever hear it. That's "Time's Up." The song deals with people that have a Facebook life and a real life, or an X life and there's so much of that where people are faking their everything's so great, and then when you find out that it's not, you're like, who are you? They think they're doing the right thing. I honestly think that people on social media think they're saying the right things to uplift people, but really they're painting a picture that dilutes what's really going on, with their friends, with their life, with their feelings. Talk a little bit about writing a song like this, and how difficult it is as a musician in this world now where so many people would rather live online than go out and actually see a band or go out and, experience life.
Yeah. The thing is that, I'm not the generation that was raised with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all these things. For me, it's kind of like difficult to understand that people like to be more online. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them. And that they really don't know how to live offline. And this story, it didn't actually happen to me, but it happened to somebody that is very close to me and that I really like. And when I saw it, that this person heard the person I like, because he is just like a child in adult body, and who's like living online but not offline, then I was like, I have to write about this thing. And that's why I also used a huge teddy bear, because I'm singing about just grab your teddy bear and leave. And that's why I have it in our reels. And also when we had release party here in Prague in December, in a huge hall in Prague, it was amazing. We had this huge teddy bear that I used in those reels. And before the song started, we just throw it on the people. We asked hey, do you want it? And do you have any kids at home? And they were like, yeah, we want it. So we just throw it away, and they were so happy, and it was really cool. But so it's like a symbol for me. And it wasn't that difficult for me to write it, because I was really touched by the situation, and I had to write about it and scream about it. And and whenever I'm singing it live on stage, it's like this. It's really real emotions.
Sure. I want to stay with that song just for a minute and play off what you just said. How weird is it, or ironic, that you're literally having to use social media to tell people to get off of social media?
That's the funny thing, actually. Well, I'm not telling them to go away from the social medias. I'm just telling them that there's also life outside, this box, and they should go out and meet people and just live a real life as well. But being a musician in today's world is pretty difficult, because you have to be online, you have to post online, and once you have a day job and a band, it's very exhausting, because you were in the work. And for example, today I had to really wake up early and rushed home so I could do all those interviews. And it's kind of difficult. And I think we are still learning how to communicate with people, even though the numbers are good, I would say, and people are reacting well. to anything we are posting, but I still think that it should be more. And I'm not really sure how to, for example, I know how to talk and present the band,
Sure.
but what I'm not sure about still is how to present myself, because the one thing is what you see on the social media, and the other thing is what you feel and what is it. And like in social medias, there's so many lies, and
Right.
people are like, oh, this is so great, and we are on tour and we are enjoying it. Like, no, we are tired, we are broke,
Right.
and it's cold or it's hot, and it's like that. Even though, yeah, when you're on stage, it's perfect.
Sure.
But then you wake up like with
Then you have
swollen-
23 more hours in the day.
Exactly, and those 23 hours are pretty intense.
Right. Certainly are. I know. And that is such a weird thing, because everybody does still, they have these visions of the biggest bands in the world in the 80s, or the Led Zeppelins getting on their private jet to go to the next place. They don't see when a band is struggling at a gas station. Well, if we put all our change together, we can each get a burrito. They don't understand the real world. And if you present it to them, they think you're a failing band. And that's the worst part of it, is when you tell the truth,
Yeah.
it actually leads people to think, well, they're not going to make it, which is a terrible way to look at things.
It's terrible, and that's what I was also talking about with in my previous interview, that it's like, how to say it, that you have to present like that you are. It's like illusion of success, and that's what you have to do. So yeah, I'm trying to also show people that it's not always that easy. We also have Patreon, where we are like very like openly talking about
Okay.
what's happening in our lives and what's happening in the band. And people are like, really? I thought that it's like exactly like private jet and all those like beautiful things. And it's not always like that. And it's never like that for us. We don't have jet. And we're always traveling in our van, so no planes yet. But yeah.
Right. Certainly. Well, Nicol, obviously when you're putting out new music, and it sounds from everything you're saying, you guys are super, super active as far as getting out there. Tell me about the touring. Tell me about, how the band has done and how you've grown as a performing musician over the last 5 or 6 years since you've been a band.
Yeah, so I was singing before that. I had at high school I had a pop metal something
Okay.
band. We were just like doing covers, and before that I was singing in this like a school at school, it's just nothing. And I was performing, but it wasn't a band. I wasn't writing music and anything, and to go on stage with something like that, it wasn't easy at all, because I was watching all those artists that I really admire. I was watching how they're moving, what are they doing, and everything, because I didn't want to stand on the stage. I wanted to move, I wanted to connect, but it was difficult. The most difficult part of being on stage at the beginning was to talk to people. You can sing, you can do whatever you do, because it's kind of like a role, or you're singing about your emotions, the situations you've been through. But when the music stops and then you have to talk to the people, it's awkward, and you don't know what to do. And I was like, oh my god, I don't want to talk. What should I say? And I would like the people to do the circle pits, but how should I tell them to go to circle pits or wall of death? Or
Right.
It was difficult. It was really difficult, but at some point, then I was like, okay, that's enough. I was like, okay, I'm going to be, I don't know, if I want the people to go to the pit, I will tell them,
Sure.
move your asses there and do the thing
Right.
now.
You're taking command. You're taking
Exactly.
command of
And it
your
was
stage.
working.
Yeah.
And it was working.
Step back into time and flip into fun at Pinball PA, the ultimate arcade and museum where classic games come alive. Located off Broadhead Road in the Hopewell Shopping Center, Pinball PA invites you to play with 400 pinball machines and video games, from rare gems to your all-time favorites like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Frogger, and the latest pinball hits. Perfect for families, friends, field trips, birthdays, and gamers of all ages, Pinball PA is open Tuesdays through Sundays with unlimited play for one low price. No quarters needed. Learn more at pinballpa.com.
And it was amazing. And then I realized that, because a lot of people told me that I have like a huge energy and it's so funny to watch us, and it's still continuing. Like, even though people are not listening to metal music, and it happened to us very like a lot of times, people are not, like, for example, people were not listening to metal music. They don't like those screams and growls and stuff. But they came to me after the show and they were like, we don't like this music, but what you did on the stage is just like something else. They really love the energy. They love the entertainment. They love the connection. And that's what I've learned through time somehow. But I also, I had to work on my head and what I'm thinking, what I feel, how to present myself. It wasn't easy. It didn't come like that. But it kind of, I don't know. Now for me, it's natural. I love it.
Sure, definitely. Well, Nicol, one thing, and this was just, I saw it as I was scanning around, kind of researching before we did this interview. You are constantly compared, like every review I saw, you are compared to Tatiana and Courtney from Spirit Box, which I'm sure is, look, there's a lot worse you could be compared to than the two, add Lena Scissorhands in there and maybe Lauren Hart, and you've got everybody you need, But I always look at that these days in 2026 and think that's not really fair. I don't think that they should put all the women in the box of it. These are the growling women, and that seems to be what everybody wants to do now. And it seems like we should be past that. You should be judged against, I don't know, Rob Flynn from Machine Head or Howard Jones or, the Kill Switch guys. Do you think we're ever going to get to a time where that happens? And second part of that, do you mind the comparisons knowing that it's not a full comparison?
Well, like, to be compared with such amazing and successful women is, like, on one hand, like, it's amazing.
Sure.
Like, but when you know that you're not screaming like them, you're not singing like them, because they have unique voices, they have unique techniques. It's totally different. This is something like seriously. And I also read one interview with Tatiana, and she was talking about this thing, like, why do you compare me to Courtney, to Alisa, to like whoever? Why? Because, for example, for her, she started to scream with the frontman from Lamb of God. I would say, if I'm sure,
I think so.
And I'm not sure. But it's like a guy. It's not a girl. And this is like why she's maybe more upset about it. I started with Alisa and Tatiana. So for me, when somebody says like you're screaming like her, like sure, I started like to scream with them. But I'm not sure that this will ever change. I would say that maybe there will always be subgenre female fronted band.
Is that okay or is that not okay?
Not sure.
Okay. see where it takes you, right?
Exactly. Maybe when I'll be hearing this thing for decades, like these women, maybe then I will be upset. But for me, we are kind of still like a, I don't know, young band.
Sure.
If you compare it with these bands.
Right on. Well, Nicol, here on this show, we tell everybody it's okay if you stream it, I guess. It's fine if you use Spotify or whatever, but buy something. They need to buy whatever it would be, a vinyl, a CD, a hat, a shirt, whatever, because that's what keeps you guys in business. Where do we tell people to go to buy something from Stellvris?
Yeah, so we have Bandcamp, so you can go there and shop in there, and we are shipping worldwide, even though of course when we are shipping to US it's more expensive, and now with these restrictions from this amazing president, then it's even more difficult. So I think if we make it to tour in the US, we would just buy more merchandise and just and vinyls and all the things, leave it there, and ask somebody to ship around the US for us, because then it would be way cheaper for everybody to make it like this way. Yeah,
Right
but
on.
you can go on our Bandcamp and order anything, and it will help us to
Sure,
live.
absolutely. And I can't speak for everybody, but I will say I'm a huge fan of Bandcamp, and I honestly don't I don't think people understand how many big bands are on Bandcamp. I think everybody thinks that it's new bands. It's really not anymore. I mean, go out there and you can find the entire catalog of 6 Feet Under, or bands that have been around 30 years are there. So definitely go check them out on Bandcamp, and check the band out. If you have to use Spotify or something, I guess it's okay to give it a listen, but then buy something. The band, of course, is Stellvris. That is spelled Stellvris. Make sure you spell it right or you won't find them. The new project is Shatter and Bloom. You definitely want to check it out if you like modern metal. It is fantastic. And this has been fun, Nicol. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your daily metal fix is on Rumble. Watch the classic metal show episodes free or go commercial free with a premium subscription. Find your classic metal show now at rumble.com/c/CMS, rumble.com/c/CMS.